I never planned to leave Earth. Not permanently, at least. My mission aboard the diplomatic research vessel Eidolon was supposed to last 6 months. A quiet assignment. Document cultural exchanges with newly contacted species. Write reports. Ask polite questions.
Smile for cameras.
Return home. But plans, I would soon learn, meant nothing once the stars began to rearrange your fate. The Eidolon drifted in orbit above Virilia Prime, a planet of silver oceans and sky-veined auroras. The Virilians were graceful, luminous-skinned beings whose civilization had mastered neural resonance, communication through emotion, and thought rather than sound. Their royal family ruled not through force, but through shared consciousness with their people. Humans, by comparison, were blunt instruments. We talked too loud, thought too private, lived too divided. And yet, they had invited us. I was the youngest xenocultural analyst on the mission. Most days, I spent my time recording interviews, translating resonance impressions into human language, and pretending I wasn't overwhelmed by how beautiful everything was. On the 14th day, I met Princess Sereth. She arrived without announcement, gliding into the observation hall like a breeze wearing starlight. Her eyes were pale violet pools that shimmered with shifting constellations. Her hair floated as if underwater. A faint hum surrounded her, the sound of thoughts moving faster than speech. Every human in the hall fell silent. Except me. I dropped my data slate. It clattered against the crystalline floor.
Echoes rang.
The princess turned toward me. Not offended. Amused. I apologize, I stammered, bending to retrieve the device. I didn't expect. Her voice entered my mind directly. Gentle.
Clear.
You expected nothing. That is why you saw everything. I froze. Telepathic reception usually required a translator implant. I had none activated. Yet I heard her perfectly. Captain Renshaw stepped forward to greet her, launching into formal diplomatic words. I faded into the background, heart pounding. But Sereth's gaze never left me. That night, sleep refused to come. I sat by my cabin viewport, watching the auroras ripple across Virilia's atmosphere. I had a secret, one I'd never shared with anyone. Not my family, not my colleagues. When I was 12, after an accident that left me briefly clinically dead, I began hearing faint echoes of thoughts around me. Random whispers, emotional flickers. I learned to hide it,
to pretend it wasn't happening.
Doctors called it post-trauma hallucination. I called it survival. Over time, the whispers faded. Or maybe I simply learned to shut them out.
Until today.
When Princess Sereth spoke inside my mind, it felt natural, familiar, like a door reopening. A soft knock sounded at my cabin door. I turned. The panel slid open. Sereth stood there alone. No guards. No aides. No translator. My apologies, I said quickly. I didn't know royal quarters were so close. She stepped inside. The door sealed behind her. You hear me without technology, her voice said. Your mind resonates. My throat went dry. I don't understand. She approached the viewport, gazing at her world. In our species, resonance is common. But among humans it is rare. Very rare. A dormant frequency. A forgotten branch of evolution. I try to laugh. If you're saying I'm psychic, I assure you, you lie only to yourself. Her words didn't accuse. They simply existed. Like gravity. I looked away. I've never told anyone. I already knew. My pulse roared in my ears.
How?
Sereth stepped closer, raised her hand, did not touch me, but warmth blossomed across my mind. Memories unfolded against my will. The hospital room. the machines. My mother crying. The moment I slipped beyond heartbeat and returned, I gasped. She withdrew her hand. "You're reading me," I whispered. "I am listening. The way your mind sings is unmistakable. I sensed you the moment your vessel entered orbit." Fear stirred. "If your government knows." "They do not. Only I know. And now you know that I know." Silence stretched. Finally, she said, "Walk with me tomorrow. I will explain." The next day, Sereth led me beyond the palace terraces, across bridges of living crystal, into a garden where luminous flowers pulsed with soft light. No escorts followed. No recording drones hovered. Just us. "We Virelians," she said, speaking aloud now, her voice musical, airy, "are a species built on shared mind. Our unity is our strength. But unity has a cost. Privacy does not exist. Secrets do not exist." I sat on a stone bench. "Sounds peaceful." "It is stable," she corrected gently. "But curiosity dies quickly when nothing can be hidden."
She looked at me.
"You carry a secret. It makes you unpredictable, alive in ways my people have forgotten." I swallowed. "So why me? Why tell me any of this?" Sereth folded her hands. "Because our civilization is at a crossroads. We have grown stagnant. We have no new ideas, no disruptive thoughts, no evolution. Our council believes humans may help us understand individuality again. But humans fear us. They fear losing themselves in resonance." She met my eyes. "You do not fear it." "I fear plenty," I said. "I've spent my life hiding this." "Yet you still grew," she said. "Without guidance, without community, you survived alone." Something in her tone felt almost longing. "I want to learn from you," she said softly. "How it feels to have a mind that is truly your own." I laughed bitterly. "You think my mind is special? It's a mess." "I think," she said, "that you are the bridge between our species." A bridge. Between worlds. Between solitude and unity. Between secrecy and exposure. Before I could answer, the sky darkened. Alarm chimes echoed through the city. A breach. A human military fleet had entered orbit without clearance. Captain Renshaw's emergency message reached my wristcom. "All personnel return immediately. Situation unstable." Sereth's expression turned distant, her pupils blooming with resonance signals. "They fear assimilation," she said quietly. "They believe we will steal your minds." "They don't understand you," I said. "And you do?" she asked gently. I hesitated. "I'm trying." Explosions rippled in the atmosphere. Not direct attacks, but intimidation bursts. Sereth closed her eyes. "My council will respond with unity. One shared thought. One command. They will force your fleet to withdraw." "That would be war," I said. "It would be survival." I stood. "Let me talk to them." Sereth opened her eyes, startled. "They will not listen." "They might listen to someone who understands both sides," I said. "Someone who has a foot in each mind." Understanding dawned in her gaze. "You would reveal yourself." I nodded. We raced back to the palace. I stood before the human communication array, heart hammering, sweat cold on my skin. Captain Renshaw's face appeared in holographic blue. "Dr. Hale, get to shelter immediately." "Captain," I said, voice shaking, "listen to me. The Virelians are not attacking. They're afraid, just like us." "You're compromised," he snapped. "Step away from the interface." Sereth stood beside me, luminous and calm. I closed my eyes and opened my mind. For the first time in my life, I stopped hiding. I projected my thoughts outward. Fear, hope, awe into the communication field. A wave of raw emotion that humans could feel, even without words. I whispered my secret into the void. I can't hear thoughts. I have since I was 12. The Virilians did not make me this way. I was born between worlds. And if we fight now, we destroy the only chance we have to evolve together. Silence. Then Captain Renshaw's expression softened. Confusion. Wonder. Hesitation. Dr. Hale, he said slowly, stand by. I'm calling off the formation. The fleet engines dimmed. Tension drained from the sky. I opened my eyes. My knees buckled. Sereth caught me before I fell. Later, as stars brightened above the palace, we stood together on the terrace. You revealed your secret, she said. There is no hiding now. I let out a breath. I'm tired of hiding. She looked at me, eyes glowing softly. When I first saw you, she whispered inside my mind, I already knew your truth. But I did not know your courage. A breeze passed. The auroras rippled. Somewhere below, humans and Virilians began new negotiations. New understandings. Stay, she said simply. Help us rebuild what we have forgotten. Help us learn individuality. And let us teach you unity. I stared at the alien world stretching endless and strange before me. Earth felt very far away. And for the first time, that did not frighten me. I'll stay, I said. Sereth smiled. Not with lips, but with mind and light and warmth that wrapped around my thoughts like dawn. She whispered my secret one last time, not as exposure, but as acceptance. You were never alone. You only thought you were. Above us, two species began to change. And I stood at the center of the bridge, no longer hiding, no longer afraid, finally seen. Days passed. Negotiations between humans and Virilians continued beneath shimmering sky domes and holographic conference lights. Fear lingered, but curiosity had begun to replace it. The moment I opened my mind to both species became a turning point whispered about in corridors and council chambers. But I knew something deeper had shifted, not in politics, but in myself. I stood once again on the palace terrace, watching twin moons rise over silver seas. The air carried soft resonance hums, distant thoughts of an entire world breathing together. Sereth joined me, without sound. You have been quiet, she said aloud. I smiled faintly. For the first time in my life, my mind isn't noisy. No whispers. No hidden echoes. It's peaceful. That is because you no longer fight your nature, she said. I glanced at her. What happens now? Humans will want to study me. Virilians will want to understand me. I'm suddenly very interesting to the universe. Seretha's eyes shimmered with gentle amusement. You are not an object of study here. You are a guest. And she hesitated. A friend. Friend. The word carried weight in a civilization where individuality was rare. A soft light formed around us as Sereth opened a small crystal sphere in her hands. Inside danced a pattern of moving stars. A seed of shared resonance, she explained, given only to those invited to join the mind garden. I stiffened. If I accept, do I lose myself? Sereth stepped closer. Her voice entered my thoughts, warm and intimate. No. You will remain you, but you will never be alone again, unless you wish to be. I thought of my childhood, the hospital bed, the fear of being different, the years spent pretending I was ordinary, the loneliness of secrets. I thought of Earth, of my mother, my colleagues, my life before the stars. And I realized that I had already crossed a bridge I could never return from unchanged. I reached out and touched the sphere. Light poured into my mind, not overwhelming, not consuming, but welcoming. like stepping into a vast hall where countless voices waited respectfully, allowing me space to speak or silence to breathe. I felt them. A civilization. A world. Not forcing, not merging, simply present. Tears stung my eyes. Saratha's hand gently steadied mine. "Welcome," she whispered. Below us, the palace gardens bloomed brighter, responding to the new harmony in the network. Far above, the human fleet remained in orbit, not as invaders now, but observers of a fragile new peace. And in that moment, I understood the truth Sarath had known from the beginning. She had whispered my secret. The alien princess had already known. But instead of taking it from me, she had given me a place where it finally belonged. The stars watched. The universe listened. And the future, uncertain, brilliant, terrifying, had begun.